everybody, I'm John Turk. I am Julia's husband, and I want to share a story of how God brought her and I together. And it starts out in about New Year's of '96. I was at a function with my father. So my father was Muslim, and at this point he had broken up with my mother. They got divorced, and he moved in with me. He became my best friend. So we did a lot of stuff together, and he said, "Hey, John, you're Turkish. Why don't you go to this Turkish New Year's party with me? It'll be fun. You'll get to know more of the culture and meet people." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good." So we went, and while I was there, I ended up meeting a girl, and she was another Turkish girl, and it was just kind of weird how it all went down. But we had the same birthday, and she was actually 11 years younger than me, so we hit it off, and I could just feel like everyone looking at us like, wow, we're going to have two people connect, because in that culture, people try to set each other up, and if your families know each other and you get together, it's kind of a good thing. So I like making my dad happy, so I met this girl, and she was Turkish, and I thought, well, this would be pretty cool. We went on a date, hit it off really good, and started dating. And as the years went on, we were together for a long time, and I ended up becoming a big part of their family. They were a really good family, honest, hardworking family. I kind of assimilated into the family, and my dad did too. And we would spend holidays with them and hang out with them, especially the Muslim holidays, Ramadan, and so forth. And I just had a really good life. As time went on, I just noticed that something didn't feel right. I would go home and I would kind of run the relationship through my mind, and I just felt inside that, she wasn't the one, because she kept asking me, let's get married, I want to have kids. This is about 2 years into our relationship, so this dragged on for quite a while. I kept kind of holding it off because I just felt it wasn't right. I needed more time, I thought, and it came down to a head, and it was probably about, I'd say, somewhere around like 2000, and we would have argument after argument. We ended up breaking up a couple times and getting back together. I just felt this attachment for some reason, and I thought, maybe I should just settle. I couldn't find anyone else, and she was a really good girl. She was attractive, we had a good family, and I thought, maybe I'm just being too picky. I approached my mother, and my mother had divorced my father it was going on about 5 years at this point. My dad was living with me, and I said, "Hey, Mom, I've been dating this girl," and she never wanted to meet her. She's like, "No, I don't want to meet her. I don't want to meet her." And I just thought that was kind of strange. So I said, I've been dating this girl for, it's going on 5 years now, and I feel like she keeps asking me to marry her, and I just feel something holding me back inside, and I don't know what it is. And I just kind of wanted your opinion, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. And my mom stopped right away, and my mom knew she was Muslim. And she said, "John, it's not feeling right to you because you're not equally yoked." And I said, "Equally yoked? What's that mean? I don't know what that means." And she said, "John, you're a child of Jesus. You were baptized and you were given to Christ. And that's why this doesn't feel right to you. She's a Muslim, and it's not going to work. It didn't work with your father and me, and it won't work with you either. That's why you're feeling this way. You have that hole inside of you that only Jesus can fill." And I looked at her and I just said, "Mom, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I want your honest opinion. What do you think it is?" And she says, "I just gave you my honest opinion. It's not going to work." My mom was a smart woman. My dad was a smart guy, and I didn't know what to believe, but I just went home and I kind of had this weird feeling inside. And I thought, when I go over there this weekend, because I would spend every weekend at their house, and we would just kind of hang out and do our thing. And I thought, I'm going to go over there this time, and I'm going to wear a cross. I just want to see what happens. Not that I believe in any of that stuff. I'm just going to see how it turns out. So I wore a cross. I went up to the house, knocked on the door to let them know I was there, and she greeted me, and right away she looked at me. She said, "What's that?" And I go, "What's what?" And she says, "What is that you have around your neck? Why are you wearing that?" I said, "It's just a piece of jewelry." She goes, "No, it's a cross." And she goes, "We're Muslim. You can't come in the house with that on." And I said, "What do you mean, come in the house with that on?" She goes, "Besides, your dad's a Muslim. That makes you a Muslim. You're a Muslim. You spend all the holidays with us. You're a Muslim." And I said, "You know what? I'm not anything." I said, "And this is making me feel really weird. And if you don't want me to come in the house, I won't." She said, "Well, you can come in, but just be respectful and tuck it in your shirt. I don't want my family seeing that, and just tuck it in your shirt." And I thought about it, and I said, "Man, that's just kind of weird." I said, "Okay, I'll just go and I'll tuck it in my shirt." So I tucked it in my shirt, and I walked in the door, And we were having dinner, and they would make this really nice dinner when I would go there on the weekends, and we would just kind of hang out. We were eating dinner. I just got this weird feeling. It came over me. Why? I just gave in, and I tucked this thing in my shirt, and I just felt something inside. It just didn't feel right. So I went to the bathroom. I excused myself, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I took the cross out and I put it out of my shirt. I go, okay, here we go. And I sat down at the table, and it was her grandmother, her mom, her dad, her younger sister, and her, of course. And right when I sat down, her sister was kind of funny, had a really good sense of humor. She just made a little comment and said, uh-oh. And I just sat there and I just kind of looked up and I go, what? And I just see the whole family just staring at my neck. And I see the grandmother got kind of weirded out and didn't know what to say. And we just finished off dinner. Nobody said anything to me. And then we went downstairs, and my girlfriend was just really pissed off that I just disrespected them like that. And so that was that. I went home, and I drove home and was just contemplating everything. And I got home, and I just was really like depressed. I felt like my mom's words ringing in my ears, you got to be equal yoked. And I started to think, what if I did become, a Christian? And I also was kind of weirded out. I felt like this person was coercing me into their religion. And I wasn't getting an honest feeling of wanting to go to that religion. I thought, what if I get married to this person and she wants me to have all these babies, she wants me to be this religion, and I don't want any of that. And I started to get this weird feeling bubbling up inside of me. And it wasn't so much about the kids. I guess I could talk my way out of that. It was the religion thing that made me weird. I said, what if I did become a Christian? What could I do at that point? She's going to force this Islamic religion on me. And even though I had a background in my father, I just thought, that's not what I want. It's what about what I want? And I was really disappointed because I had a really strong relationship with this girl, but not strong enough to keep me there. And so I just got down on my knees and I looked up at the sky and I said, God, if you're real and Jesus is real, you need to help me. You need to bring the wife to me that I'm going to marry. And I just said that prayer and I just broke down crying. I was just really depressed. And I basically made it that I was going to give this girl up for God if he was real. And I did. I called her up and I broke up with her. And, went back and forth and not going back to a relationship, but she'd call, are you sure what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. It has to do it the other night. And I said, I just don't feel right. I'm just going to move on. And that was that. And then 2 weeks later, my agent called me and she said, she had been trying to set me and Julie up for years. And I didn't want to meet her. She didn't want to meet me. We both didn't want to go out with actors and models. We just had bad experiences. But my agent said, I don't know what it is, John, but I just got a really good feeling about you two, and you're going to meet. And she set us up on this audition for a De Beers Diamond ad. And so we met, and we hit it off. We had a great time. After the audition, we went and had coffee for 4 hours, and we've been together ever since. But the crazy thing is, I didn't give God credit for it. I gave myself credit for it. I gave the universe credit for it. I still didn't believe in God after all that happened. I got down on my knees, I prayed, and said, hey, bring me my wife. And he did. And I didn't give him credit. So, when you look at life, I was really pretty much smacked in the face with Jesus. And I kind of blew him off. Julie and I became Christians in 2009. And when we met, she wasn't following God, even though she told me she was a Christian. We never went to church. We never followed anything. But I just think it's really important for everybody to know that you should never be coerced into a religion. And it's the same thing with anything in life, love or religion. It should be your choice. It should be your free will. And God is going to give you that free will. And that God is in the form of Jesus. And the only way to find Jesus is if you search for him, call for him. He'll come to you. Look through the Bible. I read the Quran after Julie and I became a Christian. I wanted to find out all about all the religions before I was just going to believe one religion. And Christianity just kept hitting me in the face. It just kept showing me it was the real God. It was the true God. It wasn't Islam. It wasn't Buddha or any of these other ones. Jesus was it. And just the relationship aspect, how he died for my sins, And that is the important thing, because we're all sinners. We're all going to die one day, and life is short. It even says in the Bible, life is but a whisper. It's going to go by like that. I'm 62 years old, and I just can remember being younger. It's been 23 years her and I have been together. And I just can't believe this much time has passed that fast. And I'm already, 18 years, I'll be 80 years old. That's life. So know that we are going to end up someplace else. And do you really know where your soul is going to go? Because there is a God. Now, I just want to leave you with this thought. My mother mentioned that it's really important to be equally yoked. And that's what I was feeling in my spirit, that I wasn't equally yoked. And that's why my relationship didn't move forward. Realize the devil's going to send you somebody and God is going to send somebody. And you have to pick the person that's going to bring you closer to your relationship with God. Not a false God, the real God, the one true God. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you the next time.